Listen up today. I'm talking to the warriors, the dreamers, the hustlers, the ones who know deep down they were made for more. But some of y'all, you've been settling. You've been playing small, and I'm here to tell you that stops. Today, you weren't born to be average. You weren't put on this earth to live a life of just enough, but somewhere along the way, you got comfortable. You got tired. Life hit you, and instead of pushing back, you sat down. You made excuses. Maybe this is all I'll ever be. Maybe I should just accept it. No! That's the lie the world wants you to believe. Let me ask you something. When did you stop believing in you? When did you stop demanding more from yourself? When did you trade in your dreams for comfort? See, settling isn't just about money. It's about your mindset. It's about your effort. It's about the standard you set for your life. Some of y'all settle in your relationships. You stay around people who drain you, who don't push you to be better. Some of y'all settle in your careers. You take whatever life hands you instead of reaching for what's yours. Success is not about luck. It's not about talent. It's about a decision to refuse anything that doesn't match the greatness inside of you. So what's it going to be? Are you going to stay in the same spot, complaining, making excuses, or are you going to stand up and go get what's yours? Because let me tell you something, greatness ain't for the weak. If you want it, you got to fight for it. You got to be willing to sacrifice, to struggle, to do what most people won't so you can live how most people can't. No more settling, no more excuses. From this moment forward, you demand. From this moment forward, you push harder. From this moment forward, you become the person you were meant to be. Now get out there and take what's yours. You weren't born to be mediocre. Every single person on this planet has the potential for greatness, but too many people settle for average because it's comfortable, it's easy, it doesn't require effort. And that's the problem. People want success, but they don't want to go through what it takes to achieve it. They want the rewards without the work, the recognition without the struggle, the glory without the grind. But that's not how life works. That's not how champions are made. The truth is, average is a disease. It's a mindset that keeps people trapped in the same cycle day after day, year after year. It's waking up every morning with no passion, no drive, no hunger. It's looking at your goals and telling yourself, maybe tomorrow, when you should be attacking them today. It's watching other people succeed and making excuses for why they got there instead of asking yourself, what do I need to do to get to that level? Average is dangerous because it feels safe. It doesn't demand anything from you. It lets you coast, lets you drift, lets you stay exactly where you are. And before you know it, years have passed and you're still in the same place, doing the same things, living the same life, wondering why nothing has changed. The reason people accept average is because they're afraid of failing. They're afraid of stepping outside of what they know, of putting in effort and not seeing results right away. But that fear is a lie. The real failure isn't trying and coming up short. It's never trying at all. It's looking back and realizing you had the ability, the opportunity, the potential, but you chose to stay comfortable instead of stepping up. And for what? Because it was easier? Because it didn't require as much effort, because you were scared. Greatness isn't reserved for a select few. It's not something only a handful of people are born with. It's a decision. It's a commitment. It's waking up every day and saying, I refuse to be average. I refuse to let my potential go to waste. I refuse to look back with regret. It's about effort. It's about mindset. It's about pushing yourself beyond what's comfortable and doing what most people won't. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not about having the perfect circumstances. It's about deciding that average is not an option. Some people settle for average because they think that's all they can get. Maybe they grew up in an environment where nobody expected more from them. Maybe they were told their dreams were too big, that success was for other people, not for them. Maybe they tried once, failed, and convinced themselves they weren't good enough. But none of that is true. The only thing stopping you from rising above average is you. The only thing keeping you from reaching that next level is your willingness to go after it with everything you have. Success is not about where you come from. It's not about who you know. It's about what you're willing to do. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your background. It doesn't care about what's happened to you. The only thing that matters is whether or not you're willing to put in the work, whether or not you're willing to show up every day and give it everything you've got, whether or not you're willing to push past your limits, your doubts, your fears, and do what needs to be done. People who achieve greatness don't do it by accident. They don't stumble into success. They make a conscious decision to be different. They choose to put in the extra hours, to stay disciplined, to push through pain, to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term success. And the question you have to ask yourself is, are you willing to do the same? Are you willing to give up what's easy for what's possible? Are you willing to stop making excuses and start making progress? The moment you decide to raise your standards, everything changes. The way you think, the way you act, the way you approach your goals, it all shifts. You stop accepting less than you deserve. You stop settling for good enough. You start demanding more from yourself and you start putting in the work to back it up. Because that's what it takes. There is no shortcut. There is no magic formula. It's about effort. It's about discipline. It's about consistency. Most people never reach their full potential because they quit when it gets hard. They start off strong, but the moment they face resistance, the moment they don't see instant results, they give up. They go back to what's comfortable, to what's familiar, to what's safe. But safe doesn't lead to success. Comfort doesn't create champions. You have to be willing to push through the struggle, to embrace the challenge, to keep going even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't see progress right away, because that's how you separate yourself. That's how you go from average to exceptional. You don't have to settle. You don't have to accept a life that's beneath your potential, but it starts with a choice. It starts with deciding that you're not okay with just getting by. It starts with refusing to lower your standards just because other people have. It starts with making the commitment to do whatever it takes to get to where you want to be. Because the truth is, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you success. Nobody is going to do the work for you. It's on you. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start moving forward. Look at the people you admire, the ones who are living the life you want, the ones who have reached the level you're striving for. Do you think they got there by being average? Do you think they got there by settling, by making excuses, by doing the bare minimum? No. They got there by outworking everyone around them, by staying disciplined when others got lazy, by pushing through when others gave up, by refusing to let anything, fear, doubt, failure, keep them from their goals. And if they can do it, why can't you? What's stopping you from going after what you want? What's keeping you stuck in the same place? Because the only difference between them and you is the level of effort, the level of commitment, the willingness to sacrifice. The moment you match their work ethic, their discipline, their drive, you'll start seeing the same results. So no more playing small, no more letting fear hold you back, no more settling for a life that's beneath your potential. It's time to step up. It's time to take control. It's time to do what you were meant to do, because average is not your destiny. Average is not your purpose. You were made for more. You were built for greatness, but you have to want it. You have to chase it. You have to earn it, because nobody's going to hand it to you. The people you surround yourself with determine the direction of your life. The energy, mindset, and habits of the individuals closest to you influence your thoughts, actions, and ultimately your success. Too many people find themselves stuck, not because they lack talent or ambition, but because they are surrounded by the wrong crowd. They spend time with people who drain their energy, lower their standards, and hold them back from reaching their full potential. They allow themselves to stay in environments that discourage growth rather than push them toward greatness. Every successful person understands the importance of their circle. They know that they cannot afford to be around individuals who do not share their vision, their drive, or their hunger for success. The wrong people will plant seeds of doubt in your mind. They will discourage you from taking risks, from pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, from going after what you truly want. They will tell you that you're dreaming too big, that you're wasting your time, that you should be more realistic. And if you listen to them long enough, you start to believe it. Some of the people closest to you may not have bad intentions, but that doesn't mean they're good for you. Just because someone cares about you doesn't mean they are capable of helping you grow. Some people love you, but they don't believe in your dreams. Some people support you, but only to a certain extent until your success starts making them uncomfortable. They'll encourage you to improve, but not so much that it makes them feel inadequate. They'll celebrate you, but only as long as you don't surpass them. This is why you have to be selective. This is why you have to evaluate every relationship in your life and ask yourself, is this person pushing me forward or holding me back? It's not easy to distance yourself from people you care about. It's not easy to walk away from friendships, relationships, or even family members who have been a part of your life for years. But you have to make a choice. Do you want to stay comfortable in the same environment, surrounded by the same people, living the same life? Or do you want to elevate? Growth requires sacrifice. It requires making tough decisions. It requires putting yourself in rooms where you feel uncomfortable, where you are challenged, where you are the least successful person in the group so that you can learn, grow, and evolve. Look at the people in your life right now. What do they talk about? Do they talk about goals, opportunities, and self-improvement? Or do they talk about drama, negativity, and limitations? What do they do with their time? Are they working towards something meaningful, or are they wasting time, making excuses, and blaming the world for their circumstances? Who you surround yourself with shapes who you become. If you spend time with 5 motivated, successful people, you will become the 6th. If you spend time with 5 unmotivated, negative people, you will become the 6th. It's that simple. Success is contagious, but so is failure. The mindsets, habits, and behaviors of those around you will rub off on you whether you realize it or not. If you constantly hear people complaining about how hard life is, how unfair the system is, how impossible it is to achieve success, that negativity will seep into your subconscious. You will start making excuses instead of finding solutions. You will start believing that you are a victim of your circumstances instead of the creator of your future. On the other hand, if you are surrounded by people who refuse to settle, who push themselves beyond their limits, who wake up every day hungry for more, that energy will inspire you to do the same. Too many people hold on to relationships out of guilt. They feel obligated to keep certain people in their lives because of history, because of loyalty, because of fear of being alone. But loyalty should not come at the expense of your growth. You can love people from a distance. You can appreciate the role they played in your life while still recognizing that they are no longer aligned with where you are going. Growth requires change, and sometimes that means outgrowing people who are not growing with you. If you want to elevate, you have to be intentional about your circle. You have to seek out people who challenge you, who inspire you, who force you to raise your standard. You need people in your life who see your potential even when you don't. People who remind you of your greatness when you forget. People who won't let you settle for anything less than what you are capable of achieving. These are the relationships that will take you to the next level. These are the people who will help you become the best version of yourself. The problem is, most people don't want to put in the effort to find the right circle. They don't want to leave their comfort zone. They don't want to introduce themselves to new people, join new communities, or put themselves in unfamiliar environments. They would rather stay around the same familiar faces, even if those faces are holding them back. But success doesn't happen in comfort zones. Growth doesn't happen in familiar spaces. If you want to evolve, you have to be willing to step into new circles, to learn from people who are ahead of you, to surround yourself with individuals who operate at a higher level. Your circle should inspire you. When you see what they're accomplishing, it should push you to do more, to be better, to strive for greater things. Your circle should make you uncomfortable in a good way. If you are always the smartest, most successful, most driven person in the room, you are in the wrong room. You need to be around people who challenge you, who make you question whether you are working hard enough, who push you to raise your standards. Think about the most successful people in the world. They don't surround themselves with individuals who drain their energy, who complain, who make excuses. They surround themselves with other high achievers, with people who think big, who take action, who refuse to settle. They build networks of like-minded individuals who hold each other accountable, who push each other to the next level, who celebrate each other's success without jealousy or insecurity. That's the kind of circle you need. But here's the truth. Finding the right people isn't just about seeking them out. It's about becoming the kind of person they want to be around. High achievers don't waste time with people who lack discipline, who have a negative mindset, who make excuses. If you want to be in the right rooms, you have to earn your place. You have to work on yourself, on your mindset, on your habits. You have to show up as someone who adds value, who contributes, who is just as committed to growth as they are. It's not just about removing negative people from your life. It's about becoming the kind of person who attracts high-level relationships. You have to raise your standards, your expectations, your level of effort. You have to become someone who others want to be around, someone who inspires, who pushes, who motivates. People often say, but I don't have anyone like that in my life. Then go find them. They exist. They are out there, building businesses, breaking records, achieving greatness. They are in mastermind groups, in networking events, in online communities, in books, in podcasts. If you don't have a strong circle, start learning from people who are where you want to be. Study their habits, their mindset, their approach to life. Immerse yourself in their energy, even if you can't be around them physically yet. Because eventually, as you grow, as you improve, as you elevate your own mindset and discipline, you will attract the right people into your life. The people in your life are either pushing you forward or holding you back. There is no in between. Every single person you spend time with is influencing your future. The question is, are they making you better or keeping you stagnant? Are they inspiring you or draining you? Are they pushing you toward greatness or pulling you toward mediocrity? Your success depends on your answer. Your life will only rise to the level of expectations you set. The standards you hold for yourself dictate every aspect of your success, from your relationships to your career to your personal growth. The problem is, most people set their standards too low. They accept less than they deserve, they tolerate mediocrity, and they allow themselves to operate at a level far below their true potential. And then they wonder why they aren't where they want to be. They wonder why their life doesn't look the way they imagined. But the truth is, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you demand. Every successful person, every high achiever, every leader has one thing in common. They refuse to accept anything below their highest potential. They expect greatness from themselves. They hold themselves accountable. They demand more from their actions, their habits, their mindset. They don't settle for good enough because they understand that good enough is the enemy of excellence. They don't make excuses because they know excuses won't take them where they need to go. They set their standards so high that they have no choice but to rise to them. People live the life they tolerate. If you tolerate laziness, you'll stay lazy. If you tolerate negativity, you'll stay negative. If you tolerate failure without learning from it, you'll keep failing. But the moment you raise your standards, truly raise them, not just talk about it, your life starts to change, because now, instead of tolerating excuses, you demand results. Instead of tolerating procrastination, you demand action. Instead of tolerating bad habits, you demand discipline. And when you raise your standards, you force yourself to level up in ways you never thought possible. Most people say they want success, but their standards don't match their words. They say they want financial freedom, but they have no discipline with money. They say they want to be in the best shape of their life, but they skip workouts and eat whatever they want. They say they want a better career, but they don't invest in learning new skills. Their standards are inconsistent with their goals, and as a result, they stay stuck in the same cycle because success doesn't come from what you say you want. It comes from what you commit to through your actions. Look at your daily habits. Look at how you spend your time. Look at the way you approach challenges, responsibilities, and opportunities. Are you operating at the level of someone who demands excellence, or are you allowing yourself to get by with the bare minimum? Are you pushing yourself to be the best version of yourself, or are you settling for just enough? Because the level you demand from yourself is the level you will reach. If you demand discipline, you will become disciplined. If you demand consistency, you will become consistent. If you demand growth, you will grow. But if you don't set that expectation for yourself, if you don't hold yourself accountable to that standard, you will never reach your full potential. The challenge is that raising your standards requires sacrifice. It requires giving up the habits, the people, and the mindsets that are keeping you in the same place. It means letting go of comfort, of old excuses, of anything that no longer aligns with where you are going. And that's hard. It's hard to break free from patterns that you've followed for years. It's hard to hold yourself accountable when no one else will. It's hard to wake up every day and push yourself to be better than you were yesterday. But that's the price of success. That's the cost of greatness. And most people aren't willing to pay it. The truth is, people with high standards aren't necessarily more talented or more intelligent than anyone else. They just refuse to accept anything less than their best. They demand more effort, more growth, more commitment. They refuse to lower their expectations just because something is difficult. They don't look for the easy way out. They look for the right way, even when it's hard. And that's why they succeed. When you raise your standards, you attract better opportunities. You become the type of person that high-level people want to be around. You start seeing results in every area of your life because you are no longer allowing mediocrity to dictate your future. You start expecting more from yourself, and in turn, you get more. But it all starts with making the decision to stop settling, to stop making excuses, to stop accepting anything less than the absolute best version of yourself. Look around at your life right now. Everything you have, everything you do, everything you are, it's all a reflection of the standards you have set. Your income is a reflection of your financial standards. Your health is a reflection of your fitness standard. Your relationships are a reflection of the standards you set for how people treat you. If you don't like where you are, it's because your standards have been too low. But the good news is you can change them. You can raise them. You can decide right now that you will no longer accept anything beneath your full potential. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you cut corners in one area of your life, you will cut corners in other. If you slack off in your personal development, it will show in your work, in your relationships, in your mindset. That's why people who set high standards in one area tend to excel in multiple areas, because excellence is a habit. Discipline is a habit. Success is a habit. And those habits are built by setting a standard and refusing to deviate from it. There will be people who won't understand your decision to raise your. There will be people who think you're too strict, too intense, too ambitious. Some of them will try to pull you back down to their level because your commitment to growth makes them uncomfortable. They don't want to see you succeed because it forces them to confront their own complacency. And that's why you have to be strong enough to stand by your standards, even when others don't support you. You have to be willing to walk away from people, places, and situations that don't align with the life you are building. High standards don't just apply to work and success. They apply to every aspect of life. They apply to the way you treat yourself, the way you allow others to treat you, the way you approach challenges, the way you handle setbacks. Having high standards means refusing to accept anything that doesn't serve your growth It means saying no to negativity, to distractions, to anything that pulls you away from your purpose. It means holding yourself accountable even when no one else is watching. People who achieve greatness aren't lucky, they aren't special, they just have higher standards than everyone else. They demand more from themselves, and because of that, they get more out of life. They don't settle, they don't compromise on their values, their work ethic, or their vision. And because they hold themselves to a higher standard, the world meets them at that level. If you look at the most successful people in any field, you will notice one thing. They expect excellence from themselves. They don't allow themselves to operate at a level lower than their best. They push themselves even when no one else is watching. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They don't make excuses. They make adjustments. They don't wait for opportunities. They create them. If you want to change your life, you have to change your standards. You have to demand more from yourself. You have to stop allowing mediocrity to dictate your future. Because at the end of the day, you don't rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. Pain is part of the process. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Success doesn't come without struggle. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has faced setbacks, obstacles, failures, and disappointments. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent, intelligence, or luck. It's their ability to endure pain and keep going. Most people let pain break them. They let rejection, failure, and struggle convince them that they aren't good enough. They take one loss and decide they don't want to try anymore. They hit one obstacle and choose to turn around instead of pushing forward. But the people who win in life are the ones who take that pain and use it as fuel. The problem is most people spend their entire lives avoiding pain. They want the reward without the sacrifice. They want the success without the struggle. They want the body without the workouts, the money without the work, the results without the process. They spend more energy avoiding discomfort than they would if they just faced it head on. And that's why they stay stuck, because growth only happens when you push past resistance. Strength is built in struggle. Discipline is developed in discomfort. Every time you choose to face pain instead of running from it, you get stronger, you get tougher, you get closer to your goal. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your greatest teacher. It reveals what you are made of. It shows you your weaknesses, your fears, your limits, but it also gives you the opportunity to overcome them. Every time you push through pain, you raise your threshold for discomfort. You expand what you are capable of. The problem is, most people never push themselves far enough to discover how strong they really are. They give up at the first sign of difficulty. They convince themselves that the struggle isn't worth it. But the truth is, everything you want is on the other side of that struggle. You cannot reach your full potential without experiencing pain. You cannot become your best self without struggle. If it were easy, everyone would do it. If success didn't require sacrifice, everyone would have it. But that's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. The willingness to endure, the willingness to keep going even when it hurts, the willingness to push past the point where others quit. Because if you can do that, if you can make it through the pain, there is nothing that can stop you. Think about any major achievement in history. Every great athlete, entrepreneur, artist, leader, they all went through pain. They all had moments where they wanted to quit, where everything seemed like it was against them, where they felt like they couldn't keep going. But they did. And that's why they made it. That's why they are remembered. Because they didn't let pain stop them. They used it. They took the rejection, the losses, the setbacks, and they turned them into motivation. They turned them into lessons. They turned them into fuel. But most people don't do that. Most people see pain as a sign to stop. They think struggle means they aren't meant to succeed. They think obstacles are proof that they should quit. But that's the lie. That's the trap. Pain isn't a stop sign. It's a test. It's life asking you, how bad do you really want it? Because if you don't want it bad enough to push through the pain, you don't deserve it. If you're willing to quit as soon as it gets hard, you were never really committed in the first place. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you are delaying your success. Every time you let pain stop you, you are pushing your dreams further away, because there will never be a version of your journey where struggle doesn't exist. There will never be a version of your success story that doesn't include pain. The only question is, will you push through it, or will you let it break you? Most people think successful people are fearless. They think they have some special ability to avoid pain, but that's not true. The difference is successful people feel the same fear, the same doubt, the same pain as everyone else. They just refuse to let it stop them. They move forward anyway. They act despite the discomfort. They push forward even when everything inside of them is telling them to stop. And that's why they succeed, because they don't let emotions dictate their actions. They don't let temporary pain stop them from reaching permanent success. Pain is temporary. The struggle is temporary. The discomfort, the frustration, the exhaustion, it's all temporary. But quitting is permanent. Giving up is permanent. And if you allow pain to make your decisions for you, you will never reach your full potential. You have to learn to reframe the way you see pain. Instead of seeing it as suffering, see it as proof that you are growing. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, see it as something to embrace. Because every time you go through pain and come out on the other side, you level up, you get better, you get stronger. Some of you are in pain right now. You're struggling. You feel stuck. You feel like life keeps throwing obstacles in your way, like nothing is going right. Like no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to catch a break. And I get it. It's hard. It's exhausting. But this is the moment that defines you. This is the moment that separates those who succeed from those who don't. Because the ones who push through this moment, the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who keep going no matter what, those are the ones who will make it. You can't just want success when it's easy. You can't just want it when you're motivated, when everything is going your way, when the path is clear. You have to want it even when it hurts. You have to want it even when it seems impossible, because that's what determines who actually gets it. The ones who want it bad enough to endure, the ones who want it bad enough to sacrifice, the ones who want it bad enough to suffer through the pain and keep moving forward. Most people are willing to work hard until it gets too uncomfortable, until it requires too much discipline, until it demands too much sacrifice. And that's why most people never reach their full potential, because they stop when it hurts. They stop when it gets difficult. They stop when things don't go their way. But if you are willing to push past that, if you are willing to keep going no matter how much it hurts, you will separate yourself from the majority of people. You will put yourself in the top 1% simply because you refuse to quit when others did. The pain you feel today is the strength you will have tomorrow. The struggle you are going through right now is the foundation for your success. Every challenge, every failure, every setback, it's all part of the process. It's all shaping you into the person you need to become. Because success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become along the way. And you don't become great without struggle. You don't develop character without adversity. You don't build resilience without pain. You have to get to a point where pain doesn't scare you anymore, where struggle doesn't intimidate you, where you understand that every challenge is just another opportunity to grow. Because the moment you stop fearing pain, the moment you stop avoiding discomfort, the moment you stop running from struggle, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Everybody wants to win until it's time to do what winning requires. Everybody loves the idea of success until they realize the price they have to pay, the long nights, the early mornings, the sacrifice, the discipline, the moments when you have to keep pushing, even when you're tired, even when you're frustrated, even when nothing seems to be going your way. That's the part most people aren't willing to do. They want the trophy, but they don't want the training. They want the reward, but they don't want the grind. They want the success story, but they don't want the struggle that comes with it. And that's why most people never make it, because they are more in love with the idea of success than they are with the process of earning it. Winning is not a game for the weak. It is not for the ones who want it to be easy, for the ones who only give effort when they feel like it, for the ones who need to be motivated every day just to show up. Winning is for the ones who are willing to do what others won't, the ones who show up every single day, no matter what, the ones who put in the work, not because they feel like it, but because they made a commitment to themselves, the ones who push through the days when they are exhausted, the moments when everything in them wants to quit, the seasons when nothing seems to be going right, and still they keep going. The truth is, most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they aren't consistent. They work hard for a few days, a few weeks, maybe even a few months, and then they let up. They get tired. They lose focus. They tell themselves they deserve a break. They slow down, and then they wonder why they aren't seeing results. But the ones who truly win, the ones who separate themselves from the pack, are the ones who stay locked in, the ones who stay consistent no matter what, the ones who keep putting in the work day after day, long after everyone else has stopped. Discipline is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Because dreams are easy. Anybody can dream. Anybody can talk about what they want, what they're going to do, how great they're going to be. But discipline is what turns dreams into reality. Discipline is waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when no one is watching, even when there's no immediate reward, even when the process feels slow and painful. And that's why most people fail, because they don't have discipline. They rely on motivation, and motivation is inconsistent. Motivation is fleeting. It's easy to feel motivated when you're excited, when things are going well, when the results are coming in. But what about when you're tired? What about when you're discouraged? What about when nothing seems to be working? That's when discipline matters. That's when winners are made. You can't negotiate with yourself when it comes to your success. You can't give yourself an out. You can't keep making excuses about why you can't do it, why it's too hard, why you need a break. Because the moment you start giving yourself an option to quit, you will take it. The moment you start looking for reasons why you can't push through, you will find them. That's why you have to decide right now that quitting is not an option. That no matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many obstacles you face, you will not stop. Because that's the mindset of a winner. That's the mindset of someone who refuses to settle for anything less than their absolute best. Look at the people who are truly great at what they do. The athletes, the entrepreneurs, the leaders, the game changers. What do they all have in common? They don't stop. They don't slack off when they get a little success. They don't let up when things start going well. If anything, they work harder. They push themselves even more because they know that the moment they get comfortable, the moment they stop grinding, someone else is coming to take their spot. Someone else is working harder. Someone else is hungrier, and they refuse to let that happen. They refuse to be outworked. They refuse to let their own lack of effort be the reason they fail. That's the level of commitment you need to have. That's the mindset you need to adopt. Because the second you start making excuses, the second you start cutting corners, the second you start letting yourself off the hook, you have already lost. Success is not about what you do when you feel like it. It's about what you do when you don't. It's about how hard you push when nobody is watching. It's about how consistent you are when there is no immediate payoff, no recognition, no validation. Some of you have been putting in the work for a while now, but you're frustrated because you're not seeing the results yet. You're looking at other people who seem to be ahead of you, and you're wondering if it's even worth it. And that's the moment that determines everything, because most people quit when they don't see instant results. Most people give up when they don't get what they want right away. But the ones who make it, they understand that success is a long game. They know that just because they don't see results today doesn't mean the work isn't paying off. They keep showing up, keep grinding, keep putting in the effort, knowing that eventually it will all come together. Winning doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a week, a month, or even a year. It happens over time. through relentless effort, through consistent action, through an unbreakable commitment to never stop. And that's why so few people truly win, because they aren't willing to endure the process. They aren't willing to be patient. They want it now, and if they don't get it now, they move on to something else. But the ones who stay the course, the ones who keep pushing, keep grinding, keep showing up no matter what, those are the ones who eventually separate themselves. Those are the ones who achieve the success that others only dream about. This is the truth about winning that nobody wants to hear. It is not easy. It is not convenient. It will not happen just because you want it to. You will have to sacrifice. You will have to push yourself to limits you didn't even know you had. You'll have to go through moments of doubt, moments of struggle, moments where you question if it's all worth it. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can quit like most people do, or you can keep going and separate yourself from the rest. The people who win in life aren't the ones with the most talent. They aren't the ones with the best opportunities handed to them. They're the ones who refuse to stop, the ones who show up every single day and put in the work, even when they don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when it seems like nothing is happening, because they know that eventually it will pay off. Eventually, all the effort, all the sacrifice, all the discipline will lead to something greater. And when that moment comes, when success finally arrives, they will know that they earned it.